Same book, completely opposite reactions. Rites of the Starling. One group said, "Bring tissues." And then the other half said, "I gave up. Nothing happened." So what is this book actually doing? And more importantly, which reader are you? Rites of the Starling is the second book in Devney Perry's Shield of Sparrows trilogy. It is a slow-burn epic romantasy. It is book 2 of a planned trilogy, and it hit the shelves on April 7th, 2026, landing at number 1 on the New York Times bestseller list on release week. Devney Perry is a number 1 New York Times best-selling author of over 40 novels, primarily romance. This romantasy series marks her entry into full epic fantasy territory, and readers of Book 1, Shield of Sparrows, followed her here in enormous numbers. The question is, did Book 2 deliver on that promise? We'll get into that. Both sides. To understand Rites of the Starling, you need to know the world it's set in. Calandra, 5 kingdoms, a realm under threat from a coming catastrophe called the Crux Migration, a massive, deadly wave of monsters that is already reshaping the continent. Our protagonist, Odessa, begins this book in crisis. A devastating attack has separated her from the man she loves. She is lost, she is being hunted, and she has a young girl depending on her to survive. The official summary puts it plainly. Everyone wants her to be something she's not. A queen, a spy, a sacrifice. And somewhere between those demands, she has to figure out who she actually is. But here's where the book changes shape. Alongside Odessa's survival story, the book introduces an entirely new character, Caspia, whose chapters unfold on a separate track. A different voice, a different worldview, a different timeline, some readers suspect from the beginning. And here's the catch. Her story might not be happening when you think it is. What does Caspia have to do with Odessa? That question is the engine of this book, and if you're willing to trust the structure, readers say the answer is worth everything. This is not a fast book. Let's be honest about that up front. This is not a fast book. It's slow, deliberate, layered. A release day blog reviewer rated The Spice at 2.5 out of 5, a step up from Book 1 but still firmly on the lower end. This is not a romance first read. It's a plot and world-building read with romance woven inside it. The emotional register runs high. Readers repeatedly describe a sense of mounting dread, of pieces clicking into place, of stories that seem separate until suddenly they're not. Several readers compared the experience to assembling a puzzle without seeing the box. Individual pieces feel random, and then the picture arrives. And if you stay with it, everything starts connecting. And that's when it hits. That picture breaks you. One reader wrote that they had to stop reading because they couldn't breathe. Another said they sat staring at a wall after finishing. A third said, and I'm quoting loosely here, that the book didn't just finish, it finished them. That's the experience waiting at the end of this road. Whether the road is worth it, that's the debate. For readers who completed this book, the praise is almost uniform in its intensity. What worked was the structure. 2 timelines, 2 stories, slowly colliding. The story is described as brilliantly constructed by multiple reviewers. One reader wrote that the level of intentional foreshadowing and hidden in plain sight detail made them want to go back to the beginning and trace every thread. Another described it as watching a puzzle come together in real time. They loved the world expansion. Where Book 1 established the rules, Book 2 reportedly interrogates them. One reviewer put it well. Book 1 made you think you knew everything. Book 2 taught you that was only one perspective. Readers also loved the new characters Caspia, the new POV character, earns devoted attachment from readers who stayed with her. Readers describe her as brave, complex, and heartbreaking in ways they didn't anticipate. Her romantic storyline drew readers in despite initial skepticism. Another thing that really worked was the ending. Multiple readers said the same thing. They had to stop reading just to process it. And whatever that ending is, it lands hard. Now for the other side. And this is where Rites of the Starling gets genuinely polarizing. A significant number of readers did not finish this book. Some gave up at 10%, some at 33%, some at 66%. And their frustrations share a common thread. The first half felt like nothing was happening, and for some readers, that's where the book ended. Multiple reviewers describe long stretches of travel, of Odessa moving through the world without the central relationship driving the story forward. One reader noted Odessa and Ransom, the couple readers came here for, aren't reunited until past page 200. That's a long time to wait for a relationship that sold the first book. Some readers also took issue with Caspia's introduction feeling abrupt, unexplained, and disconnected in the early chapters. Without context for why she matters, several readers felt their investment collapse before the structure had a chance to reveal itself. One negative reviewer called it one of the worst sequels I've ever read. Another called the first 3 quarters nothingness. These are not fringe opinions. They are repeated, consistent, and worth knowing before you pick this up. So here's the real debate. Is the slow build a flaw, or is it the entire point? Because this book doesn't meet you halfway. You either follow it, or you drop it. For readers who stuck with it, the deliberate pacing feels intentional. Every quiet chapter, every seemingly uneventful stretch of travel, they say it all feeds the ending. That what feels like nothing happening is actually everything being laid in place. For readers who gave up, that payoff never came. And they're asking, why should a reader have to endure 200 pages of slow build to earn a story that should have been compelling from page 1? There's also debate about the Caspia chapters specifically. Some readers found her storyline equally compelling to Odessa's. Some even preferred it. Others felt it was a detour, that Odessa, the protagonist of Book 1, got sidelined in her own series. And there's a quieter debate about Ransom, the male lead. One detailed review argued that his emotional availability was frustrating, that Odessa carried the romance almost entirely on her own. Other readers saw him as layered and complex. They don't agree. Which side you land on may depend entirely on your tolerance for structure over immediacy. This works for you, if you trust slow storytelling, if you like stories that reveal themselves late, if you're okay not understanding everything at first, if you read Shield of Sparrows and came away invested in the world, the magic system, Calandra, the mythology, Rites of the Starling reportedly deepens all of it. It's for you if you love puzzle box storytelling. If the idea of a story that reveals itself in layers, that retroactively changes how you see what came before, sounds appealing, this is built for that. It's for you if you read for emotional devastation. Readers who completed it compare it to the feeling of finishing certain Throne of Glass books, the kind of reading experience that stays with you. But if you need payoff early, this will test your patience hard. This book may not be for you if you need action or the central couple to be front and center throughout. If your investment in Shield of Sparrows was primarily in Odessa and Ransom's dynamic, and if a long separation with a new POV thread is not something you can sustain, several readers have told you directly, the structure may not reward your patience. You may want to wait for Book 3 to come out before committing, so you can read Books 2 and 3 back to back. This is not a safe sequel. This is a commitment, not a casual read. It is a deeply ambitious sequel. It asks for patience. It introduces structural complexity that polarizes readers almost entirely based on whether they trust the author enough to follow her into unfamiliar territory. Those who trusted her came out saying it was one of their best reads of the year, some of their best reads ever. Those who didn't, or couldn't, came out frustrated, sometimes angry. That gap is real, it's documented, and it tells you more about fit than it does about quality. If you read Shield of Sparrows and came away thinking, this world has more to offer than I've seen yet, there's a version of Rites of the Starling that was made for you. Just bring the tissues. Multiple people have told you this, and whether it works for you depends on how long you're willing to wait. So, have you read Rites of the Starling yet? Or is this the first time you're hearing about it? Here's something I want to know. Do you think a book has to pull you in from page 1 to be worth reading? Or can a slow build, even a painful, confusing one, still earn your loyalty if the ending delivers? Because this book makes you answer that question. Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. And if you've already read this book, come back and tell us. No spoilers, just your gut reaction. Did the payoff hit? And if you have a book sitting on your shelf right now that you're not sure about, that you've been curious about but haven't committed to, drop the title below. If we see the same book mentioned by 5 or more people, that's the one we cover next. Let's build the list. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next book.